It's always so much fun.
I'm always amazed at
So this is School Art Spectacular. I believe this is the 12th year that this show has gone on. And it is representative. I've worked with art teachers throughout the county, and we came up with a theme. This year's theme is resourcefulness. You'll notice some plastic bottles, some cardboard uses. So each student group was allowed to respond to resourcefulness in their own ways. For example, on the back wall of their Alta Elementary, those are recycled materials, and then they did some constellations, thinking about being resourceful with using the stars. There's some imagery of birds making nests and how birds are resourceful in that uses. And then we've got things where it's more like materials, how to be resourceful with materials. And so this one's really cool back here. It's the first time that we've had the community school be a part of this show, and this is their photography class back here, in which this group of students went around town and shot what they thought was being resourceful. So that's really exciting. And so this will be up through the month of May. The schools represented here, see if I can remember all of them. Jackson Elementary, Wilson Elementary, Alta Elementary, Moran Elementary, Coulter, Jackson Hole Middle School, Summit Community School, Jackson High School. I'm probably forgetting one, but we got Kelly as well. So we've got all of the schools in the county represented in this room. I think that they're pretty exciting things. If you have questions about specific projects, a lot of the teachers put little blurbs about how the kids responded to their resourcefulness on them, which is exciting. Oh, and Classical Academy. So Classical is all the aqueducts. They were thinking about it in historical theme of utilizing aqueducts to move water. So it is a very exciting thing happening in here. And Thursday night we will have a celebration of young artists, which will be from 4:30 to 6, and helps to recognize all of these students as well as the winners of Young Illustrators this year. And we will show those winning illustrations as well in the lobby during that time. And also, finally, recognize the 6th winner of the Bull Ransom Award, which is excellence in children's illustration of animals.
Yeah, is this tomorrow or next Thursday?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Any questions? So I've placed a lot of do not touches on there. Originally, the musical instruments, we thought about having them touch because they're really fun, so you can actually play with them. But if you do have a tour group in here, ask them not to touch it. But these are pretty exciting. This is a recognizable shape. Your Chobani yogurt right there. So these kids were super excited about making that box. It might be my favorite. Gigi, if you want to pick it up.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Paper mache.
The rain sticks are great. Can I do a rain stick, Grace?
Absolutely.
Some of them go for longer than others.
So it is pretty exciting, the different ways that kids really thought about being resourceful.
So are all the schools in this area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me how much children can do.
Yeah. Yeah, and there were,
in junior high or high school, I do more than I ever did in my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
they're thinking more freely or something.
Yeah.
They say that.
Yeah. So those 3 columns over there, the one that says our visual representation of our voices is the middle school, just to give you an idea of the different sections.
So this was an assignment.
Oh, and Journey School as well. I'm sorry. So this is Journey School as well over here.
So the assignment came from here or from their teachers?
So I worked with the teachers and we decided on the theme of resourcefulness, and then they were able to utilize it in whatever way that they felt their curriculum could allow that. So a lot of times it wasn't just like the use of materials, it was like using your brain as being resourceful. Another thing that one of the teachers did was resourcefulness was in the form of a choice-based activity in which they got a bag of materials and they had to choose things from it. So being resourceful in that way, like you have to build a sculpture out of these things. And I think that's mostly what's on the furthest pedestal over there. You'll notice there's like a hand with an iPod, so having to reuse and sort of, if you will, recontextualize their things. The masks on the wall have a really good story. That's actually the second edition of those masks. The first one was inside outside, so all of those masks have a unique inside to them. And the initial project was the students had to show like whom they show to the public and who they are in their own time. So this is the second edition of that. So you can, if you're ever so gentle, lift up the mask. I'll show you a couple of them that are pretty exciting. So this one, he actually wanted to cover the antlers in this, but chose not to. So there's plaid on the back there. Everybody can see it.
Oh, yeah.
One of them has a treasure map in it, but I can't remember which one it is. So all of them have, they really thought about what was on the inside and what was on the outside.
Which school did those?
This was the community school. This one was pretty cool. The scroll actually rolls up and goes in here. This student has a family in Tibet, so he's written all about it in there. So they all really thought about, and these are their faces. They cast their own faces. So that's actually them.
I want to do that.
Maybe we should do that as a training.
Who are you really on the inside?
Yeah. This one is, these are clay monoprints, which I'm not, Jane, have you ever done that process before?
I haven't.
From my understanding, if you're familiar with monoprints, it's using usually a glass palette or a sheet of glass, and you paint on that and you put your paper down and rub it. So monoprint, you only get one print that's like that. These students actually made, these are clay monoprints because they made clay plates and then painted on that and pulled it up on this material that kind of feels like interfacing. So that was really exciting because they had to work really quickly. They had to think about their use of paint because clay is even more moisture absorbing than a glass palette.
And they may have carved into the clay also.
Yes,
So,
yeah. So there were moments where like it did.
So the clay is like a relief. There's some parts that are higher and some parts lower.
Yeah, I know. So they wanted to be, if they wanted to be really specific about where the lines went, like you'll notice the one at the top, some of the lines disappeared. Yeah. So it's all really exciting. And I think this is one of the initial years of the high school having a photography class, and those are in that corner as well where the light will be relit.
Yeah, we need a bulb in that corner.
Yeah, and actually 2 of the photographs are by Ezekiel Nelson, who was our winner of the Art Leadership Award this year. So the long panorama is his, as well as the black and white image of the musician.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't this just wonderful?
I think so. I'm not really sure what the story of this one was. It's very visually.
And where is Wilson's?
Wilson is one of these fish. Okay. I'm not sure which school is which, but Wilson, Kelly, and Moran are
Have the same art
represented by
teacher.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, they all have.
And they might be mixed up. There
Yes.
might be like several schools.
Right.
Yeah.
I just noticed the paintbrush on the front.
That one's pretty good.
It has a nice balance.
So clever.
Yeah. And
Well,
then
clever.
just finally, as another thing, this is bookmaking in a high school class. Lauren Brzezowski, and you are allowed to touch these, so you can actually go through these books. There's a lot of information. This one is a scrolling book, and if it for some reason doesn't like what you're doing, I can reset it. So,
And they're all,
anyhow.
each book is a group project, so kids contributed different pages, different parts of the scroll.
She's really interested in like representing the kids' work and using high materials. You can play with this one as well. You're supposed to be able to like pull these things out. For example, this one says, "If we're breathing underwater." Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I mean, do encourage people to ever so gently pull things out of here, because they are definitely narratives. Yeah. So any other questions or other pieces that I
How
could
long are they
perhaps
gonna be here?
tell you
They'll
about?
be here for a month total, so early June they come down, the first week of June they come
Yeah.
down.
So I think it goes through May 31st. That is the last day.
What else in here then?
Then we will have a companion exhibit to Iowa Way Zodiac heads, some panels that tell the history and how they were made.
I see.
That will go on the exterior walls, and then we'll have our tables with open studio on the interior, and all the art making projects will tie back to Zodiac heads.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And we will have a volunteer training on that, in which we can do all the projects.
Oh, wait.
Thank you all.
Thank
you.
you.
It's great.
Thank you
That's
for
really
putting
nice.
this all together.
Yeah.
It's nice work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So you work with the teachers, and then they just